A very good evening. Much thanks for joining us here on the program. Now, shaping of human rights and rights as an expression for all other human rights. That's the theme of this. As Lookuptv joins the rest of the world in marking World Press Freedom Day. We have that story and so much more lined up for you this evening. But before we get into all that, here are our top stories. Tonight on Lookup News.
As for the postmortem process, we were able to do a total of 36 postmortems. Of these, 16 were children, 19 were adults.
One male adult rescued from Shakahola forest as autopsy exercise enters day 3. Alarm as Form 2 student allegedly raped by police in Huisero police cell.
Kenya is well on course with the International Monetary Fund and our other development partners.
President William Ruto hosts visiting Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida.
I think today is a great day to celebrate press freedom. And I would like to say that press freedom is not a favor.
And weed out quacks masquerading as journalists, Kindiki tells MCK as Kenya joins the world in marking World Press Freedom Day. It is 9 p.m. East African time. I am Nancy Nelima, and our sign language interpreter for tonight is Josephine Oko. Do stay with us at Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. Keep your comments and your feedback coming in. We'll be sampling some of that in the course of this broadcast. Let's begin tonight. The government pathologists have conducted a postmortem on 36 bodies exhumed from the Shakahola graves in Magarini, Kilifi County, and 22 DNA tests on relatives of missing people. On the third day of the exercise, Chief Pathologist Johansen Odwor has informed journalists that all the bodies had all their body parts intact. Johansen has said his team will complete the exercise on Friday before returning to exhumation for more bodies at the scene of the crime.
The rescue operations in the Shakahola forest resumed today after disruption last week following the heavy rains that rendered the exercise impossible. The latest postmortem examinations performed on the Shakahola bodies' results reveal more details into the final moments before their death. Some of the victims, according to Wednesday's postmortem exercise, died after being denied oxygen. The exercise saw 36 bodies examined, with a pathologist report indicating 16 out of the 36 were children and 19 were adults, with one body unidentified due to the level of decomposition.
Many of them were severely decomposed, being that 23 of them were severely decomposed, 11 were just moderately decomposed, but 2 were mild, meaning that they were not badly decomposed.
This brings to 76 the number of postmortems done since the exercise began. Government Chief Pathologist Johansen Odwor, in his daily briefing, said that majority of the deaths were as a result of starvation.
The cause of death from all of this, majority we found that they died because of features of starvation, which were 23 of them. 4 of them we found that they had asphyxia. And remember, I told you asphyxia is someone who was denied oxygen prior to death. 7 of them we were unable to ascertain why they died because of the level of decomposition. Then we found a child who had head injury. We also found an adult who had a disease, coronary disease, because we found that she had a kidney and a heart disease.
The exercise is expected to enter day 4 Thursday. Audrey Cherotich, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Ori, for that story. Moving over to the western region, a family in Kakamega County is demanding for justice after their daughter was raped by a police officer while in a cell in Huisero police station. They say that this incident happened after their daughter was caught making love with a 23-year-old young man. Phoebe Wangombe with that story.
A family in Huisero, Kakamega County, is crying for justice following an incident where a police officer is said to have defiled a Form 2 minor while in police custody.
Ningependa sheria imchukulie mkondo, tujue atasaidika kivipi. Ikuwe funzo kwa wenye wanachezea watoto ama mabusi kama amepelekwa ndani, na stahili wa protect, si tena wawatumie.
The victim was arrested having an affair with a 23-year-old young man and was placed in a cell. The minor revealed that the officer came into the cell at midnight and promised her that he will help her and her friend be released and convinced her to participate in the act twice.
Niweza kuvumania kijana mmoja kama amefungia msichana wa shule kwa nyumba. Tukaita maafisa wa askari, wakashika huyo kijana, wakamfutisha akafungua nyumba. Tukapata msichana ndani. Tukabeba huyo msichana pamoja na maaskari tukapeleka ndani ya cell. Cha kushikitiza sana ni kupata tena msichana wakati mahali ako kule ndani ya cell, tena afisa mwenye anafaa mlinde, tena anamchukua anamnajizi tena.
The father of the 16-year-old victim claims that the suspect found his daughter at night and did the act while calling on the police department to take strong legal actions against him.
Pia imewahi ni happen ya mimi. Nilishikwa curfew saa 1:15 nikapelekwa ndani. Same issue yenye msichana alinielezea ndio ilikuwa kwangu. Sasa singebishana, ndio iliwahi happen kwangu.
Defenders of children's rights have so come out in defense of the minor, asking for action to be taken against rogue police officer whom they claim is still at large. Kakamega County Police Commander Joseph Kigen has said that investigation has already been initiated into the incident, saying the suspect will be charged if he is found guilty.
I condemn this act. Police officers, do not shame us. Mko pale to protect us and not to defile us or not to torture us.
Phoebe Wangombe, Lookuptv.
President William Ruto has announced a new funding model for varsities and TVETs that will see students funded based on their needs. The president has, however, assured learners that university fees will not be increased, but rather government has now increased the budget from 54 billion shillings to 84.6 billion.
Have huge, serious crisis in the funding of our institutions of higher learning. Our universities and TVETs are struggling. Many universities have court cases. They cannot pay their lecturers. And statistics show that the 54 billion that we budget for university education is less than 50% of the requirement of our universities to carry out the curriculum being taught in our universities. I have had 7 different meetings for many hours. I am happy to announce to the country that finally we have a new funding model for our universities and our TVETs in the Republic of Kenya that will provide adequate resources that are predictable and that are adequate for the teaching of our children, because we believe that as a country, the single biggest resource we have as a nation is our human capital. This new funding model does not increase university fees. Let me repeat that. This new funding model does not increase university fees. Funding to students shall combine scholarships, loans, and household contributions on graduated scale, scientifically determined by means testing instrument. The means testing instrument is an instrument that has been developed by Higher Education Loans Board over the last 20 years. Students will be categorized according to 4 levels of need. Vulnerable, actually 3 levels: vulnerable, less vulnerable, and able. All students shall be supported adequately to meet the cost of the program they choose to pursue. No student will ever be left behind.
And away from that, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has ordered an immediate operation to flush out bandits who are believed to be using Marsabit Forest as their hideout. Kindiki was speaking on Wednesday when he met the county security and intelligence team in Marsabit town.
In the last few weeks, we have had incidents of targeted crime, and the intelligence we have is that some of those attacks are premeditated and they are perpetrated with ethnic motivation. We've had some killings, I think in the last few weeks. We've lost a number of people. The last loss was yesterday, where we lost a number of people in an ambush, and others were critically injured. In our assessment, these attacks are dangerous for the peace and stability of our people in this region. We believe that there is need not only to track, arrest, and punish offenders, but there is need for a serious engagement with the communities here to make sure we de-escalate ethnic and community-based passions that we believe are at the heart of. I also want to make it clear that in our work as security agencies, we are not involved in politics of whatever nature. We are not involved in the local politics of Marsabit, neither are we involved even in the national politics and the perceptions about the political alignment of anyone. And therefore, any person who is found to be aiding, abetting, supporting, or in any other way encouraging crime and encouraging ethnic passions that are leading to the kind of crimes that we have seen, including the attack that happened yesterday. Such leader, irrespective of their political persuasion, will be brought to justice.
From security to education, Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has said the decision to domicile junior secondary students at primary level is permanent. Machogu says this decision has been informed by experts, views under the CBC Presidential Working Party, and the views by majority of Kenyans. On concerns over the inadequate teachers in this transitional period, the CS says government will seek to employ additional teachers, as our reporter Henry Tende now files.
Appearing before the National Assembly to field questions from the lawmakers, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu now says a decision to domicile junior secondary students at primary level is permanent as the government seeks smooth implementation of the CBC program.
The decision to domicile junior secondary school in primary schools is not a temporary arrangement, Mr. Speaker. The matter has been considered extensively and the decision was made after considering a range of key factors. CS
Machogu says the decision to permanently domicile junior secondary at the primary level was arrived at after experts under the Presidential Working Party Task Force on CBC and 80% of Kenyans expressed their support for the move.
Out of the report and the feedback that we got from Kenyans, 86% of the respondents expressed the view that the junior secondary school should be hosted in existing primary schools. 86. Only 11% advocated for hosting the junior primary schools in the existing secondary.
Experts giving a number of reasons why they made this decision. First, the task force noted the age of students transiting from grade 6 to JSS is between 10 and 11. Hence, they should not progress to secondary schools at that tender age. They also hold at that tender age, the students require a lot of parental support, and as such, they need to be closely monitored by their parents. Additionally, the Presidential Working Party on CBC noted there is need for JSS learners to acquire knowledge and skills and foster social cohesion and appropriate values which are enhanced by parental guidance. Lastly, there was consensus that for JSS learners to operate optimally, they require an environment that will provide psycho-emotional development and support at that tender age. CS Machogu revealing the additional classes that had been constructed to accommodate junior secondary students at high school level by the previous administration will now be used to address shortage of classrooms due to 100% transition program by the government.
These classrooms are currently being used to reduce the ever-growing congestion in our secondary schools.
On school feeding program in Northern Assad region, Machogu says the government will continue with the program as a boost to education in the region.
This financial year, a total of 1.96 billion shillings has been spent for the school feeding program because the remaining period until the expire of the financial year, we are well taken care of, and there will be food in each and every part of these counties.
Henry Tende, Lookup TV.
This is Lookup News, taking a very short break, but there's so much more on the other side, including World Press Freedom Day. Don't go too far.
Hey darling, are we still on for a coffee date?
I'm waiting for you to come and pick me up.
I should be able to pick you in a few.
It's a coffee yogurt date?
It's not just a yogurt, it's royal coffee yogurt.
Flow with the sweet taste of thick and smooth Royal Fresh coffee yogurt. Royal Fresh, the royal taste of freshness.
We as Novena United Circle are a society that is able to provide a platform for business startups by providing financial aid to members and creating a platform to accumulate their savings. We look for small business entrepreneurs who are starting a business venture and provide the best opportunity to expand our business niche and turn it into something big. For more information, call us on 0768 757 956 or WhatsApp us on 0734 832 430. Novena United Circle. Tuungane pamoja.
A man, a symbol of strength, power, and leadership.
What does it take for a man to meet society expectations of provision and leadership?
Lazima uwe mtu wa bidii, lazima ukija kuoa lazima uwe ni provider, wewe ndio unatoa kila kitu.
In our weekly episode of Born a Man,
kusurvive kwa shule ilikuwa ni noma. Yeah, getting something to eat bado, especially in my last 2 years ilikuwa ngumu sana.
Moving from Status Road to Kahawa Ndani, where they came back to be hosted.
we embark on telling stories of what it takes to become a man in today's society, like it has never been told before.
I know men, we are cowards. Because tunaambiwa watu kufa kimwanaume. Kufa kimwanaume, that's nonsense.
This is the life of a man.
Why Malindi? Any idea why the A-list celebrities, politicians choose Malindi as a destination? Is it the sandy, spotless white beaches, the rhythmic, relaxing oceanic waves, or is it the great potential investment opportunity that Malindi has to offer? Dark Balance, we are here with a variety of projects from as low as 99,000 shillings. You get an eighth of an acre with ready title deeds. Book your plot today with only 35,000 shillings and get a free return air ticket. Be the next investor in Malindi with Dark Balance. Call us now on 0740 888 111 or 0740 888 222. Dagmar learns. We promise, we deliver. Why wait? Twende Malindi.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Lookuptv. This is Lookup News. Nancy Nelima here and Josephine Oko on the sign language interpretation. Moving on, the Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Davis Churchill has said the government will pay outstanding debt to petroleum dealers owed after the cessation of the fuel subsidy program. While appearing before Parliament today, the CS said the government has allocated over 50 billion Kenya shillings in settling the debt. The CS, however, added that the government has heavily invested to increase power connection across the country through the last mile connectivity program.
The fuel subsidy, which stood at about 50 billion, I think it is now at about 42 billion because last week we did make some payments. And I do agree that this stifles some of our small petroleum dealers. We did provide, and this House passed through the supplementary bill to a budget of about 40 billion. So yes, we have a budgetary allocation that should be able to extinguish the outstanding bill to some of those petroleum dealers. Yongalani, Kargi, Mount Kulal, and South Hor towns will benefit from electricity connectivity, considering that they are not yet connected to the national grid. Mheshimiwa Leongalani, we are working with the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, and who are currently implementing the electrification in Leongalani town at a cost of 141 million Kenya shillings. The contractor is currently carrying out pole erections on the project and will be completed within 6 months, that is by October 2023. With respect to Kagi area, it is planned for implementation under the World Bank funded Kenya Off-Grid Solar Mini-Grid program. The bidding documents have been submitted to the World Bank for approval to facilitate advertisement of the tenders. The Kenya Off-Grid Solar project or program is projected for completion by December. We are building a line. We've gotten funding from the government of Korea to the tune of about 15 billion, together with the local funding, to connect Bomet, which is the link which has not been done, Bomet, Narok. And that way we'll be able to evacuate more power. We have enough power in Olkaria, but it is not reaching Western Kenya because of that short link. Once this link is done, and the link from Chemosit to Bomet has been done, a place called Kapwen, we should be able to evacuate more power all the way to Bomet, Kericho, Kisii, Migori.
And in other matters, President William Ruto says Kenya and Japan will work jointly on a program to strengthen bilateral and business engagement between the two nations. Speaking in a joint media address as he hosted Japan Prime Minister Fumio Kishida at Status Nairobi, President Ruto said his government will remove taxes on funding from Japan to enhance projects undertaken in the country. The head of state also discussed in length the volatile security situation in Sudan and called for an immediate ceasefire.
We have huge, serious crisis in the funding of our institutions of higher learning. Our universities and TVETs are struggling. Many universities have court cases. They cannot pay their lecturers. And statistics show that the 54 billion that we budget for university education is less than 50% of the requirement of our universities to carry out the curriculum being taught in our universities. I have had 7 different meetings for many hours. I am happy to announce to the country that finally we have a new funding model for our universities and our TVETs in the Republic of Kenya that will provide adequate resources that are predictable and that are adequate for the teaching of our children, because we believe that as a country, the single biggest resource we have as a nation.
And apologies for that confusion right there. As the world marks Press Freedom Day today, journalists have come together to air their grievances and pleading with the authorities. Speaking on Wednesday, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki also joined members of the Fourth Estate in marking this special day by urging employers to consider paying journalists well. Abigail Shearer with that story.
It is a day that comes only once every year, when journalists get a chance to be heard and seen, as most of their work go unappreciated and unnoticed. However, this year, tables have turned in their favor, as the Cabinet Secretary for Interior Security has addressed their grievances to get a high pay.
Pia niliongea na wadosi wenu wale wanawaajiri. Nikasema ile kazi mnafanya kama journalist ni kazi ngumu, kazi kubwa, kazi ya kujitolea. Nikaambia wadosi wenu pia wawafikirie, waongeze marupurupu yenu na mishahara. Ndio msiseme waziri anatetea tu polisi.
In Bungoma County, journalists came together to air their complaints on low wages, asking the government to intervene and come to their rescue.
Tumeweza kujiunga na wenzetu ulimwenguni kuweza kuadhimisha siku hii ya leo, na tunakashifu sana wale ambao hawawezi kuangazia taaluma yetu kama iko na maana. Kuna wengi ambao hawatuchukulii kwa njia ambayo inastahili, wengi wakiweza kutunyanyasa na wengi wakiweza kutuangalia kwa njia ambayo haistahili.
The situation, however, is different in Embu County, as journalists made peace with the police after 2 years of disagreement over police brutality. This takes place in a tree planting session in the county.
I've lived in a time where you could not report against government, you could not report against very senior people in this country. But these days, the freedom of the media can be felt. But that also comes with an obligation from the media side, whereby the media also has to remember that the freedom they have is not the freedom to have them misused by anybody.
For Lookuptv, I'm Abigail Shearer.
Thank you, Abigail Shearer, for that story. And indeed, expression remains a very integral part of this trade. And we here at Lookuptv will endeavor to bring you stories that are factual and timely. Moving on, residents of Kirima village in Nyandarua County are lamenting of the massive losses of crops following the ongoing heavy rains in the area. The distraught residents are now calling upon the government to come through and save the situation. Innocent Ogaro with more.
This was the magnitude of hailstone that have so far destroyed crops and left residents of Kirima village in Kipipiri area Nyandarua County without hope of getting any harvest. Farmers who had high hope to harvest their potatoes within the next 3 weeks are now counting losses after the Monday rains destroyed their crops.
Leo kulikuja mvua kali sana. Sikuwa kwa nyumba, karibu itubebe na mvua, kukanyesa ndani. Mifugo karibu yende na maji. Hata saa hii tunashinda tunaenda kulala wapi na kupea watoto nini. Viazi saa hii imepigwa yote na mvua, mpaka mahindi, mpaka mboga kama hizi. Kila kitu yote imeharibika. Nilikuwa nimepiga viazi dawa, ilikuwa inachomeka. Saa hii karibu mtu alie. Hiyo dawa nilikuwa nimeenda kukoba. Ndivyo nipige viazi hizo. Unaona zote zimeharibika na maji, sijui nitalipa na nini.
Elsewhere, the Kenya National Highways Authority (KENHA) has reopened the closed Mai-Mahiu Narok Road 3 days after part of that road was closed due to heavy rains that are being experienced in the country.
Mimi ni mkaaji wa Nairobi, lakini napita hii barabara sana sana. Kwa hivyo vile ilikatika, tumekuwa tukisumbuka sana, lakini vile serikali ilichukua hatua ya haraka, tunashukuru. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru hii serikali ya UDA, at least imeact kwa muda mzuri. Sasa gari zinapita.
Ilikuwa imekatika pia 2018
Kwa hivyo hapa inatakiwa iangaliwe vizuri, ibomolewe zaidi ya hiyo crack upana kidogo. Manake ukiweka mawe pale tu, next time itakatika hivyo. Kwa hivyo tulikuwa tunasema ipanuliwe zaidi, iweke mawe ngumu. Na hiyo kitu isirudiwe tena. Manake you have a lot of challenge hapa. Kuna hii dry pot. Wajua kidogo inafanya kazi. Pia hiyo inasimama kabisa. Economically, watu wa transport, watu wa hoteli, nini.
Also, a 30-year-old woman from Wikali village in Butere constituency was overjoyed after giving birth to quadruplets at St. Mary's Mumias Hospital. Mildred Orange happily says that this is a blessing because no one in her family has ever given birth to twins.
Nimekuja hapa jana usiku kwa hali ya kujifungua. Kwanza daktari walinipima, wakaona watoto hawajalala vizuri kwa tumbo, wakaniambia nipitie operation. Watoto, Mungu amenibariki na watoto 4, wote ni wasichana. Nikurudisha tu Mungu shukurani na furaha. Niko na watoto 2 kuongezea kwa 4. Katika familia yetu hakuna twins ama watoto 4 hawako.
Innocent Ogaro, Lookup TV.
And on the business front, an innovation by 4 university students have emerged the overall winner of the season of the Game of Learners competition. The solution, dubbed Jambo Care, that translates local dialect to English or Kiswahili, aims to make it easier for doctors to diagnose patients' symptoms remotely. The team was able to beat 15 other teams from universities across Africa.
The innovation developed by Team Ruby emerged top in the competition that featured more than 80 students from 11 African countries.
Our interest is in improving the capacity of young people to provide digital health solutions across the continent. First, we're looking for an opportunity with innovation hubs that can host some of the solutions that the young people have developed and see if they can be brought to market. The second thing we'll be doing is with particular individuals who are interested in pursuing a career in digital health. We'll be offering up internships for them to come and work with our teams to give them both practical experience in hands-on development of digital skills.
The season's main challenge focused on developing technological solutions for Africans' health challenges. The competition, sponsored by Microsoft African Development in partnership with Population Service International and AMREF Africa, aimed to design and create technological solutions that make primary healthcare more accessible to people in the 5-week event.
What they do is they resubmit their project to this global competition called the Imagine Cup. Now, for the really, really passionate ones that really want to take this out to the market, we have support from whether it's PSI, AMREF, from our partners, as well as from the garage to take that to the next level.
Speaking on the sidelines of the award ceremony, Lucy Alphonse, the Ruby team captain, indicated that the innovation aimed to eliminate communication barriers in the healthcare sector, a factor hugely blamed for the low penetration of healthcare solutions in the country and across Africa.
Our translator aims to bridge the gap in communication, whereby the healthcare providers and the healthcare recipients don't have a common language of communication. This app comes in and it assists in communication, and it ensures effective healthcare service delivery.
Juliet Chepkoech, Lookup TV.
And now in the sporting world, the 4th edition of RX Rallycross event in Machakos County will feature tough competitors, with 5-time Safari Rally champion Carl Flash Tundo facing a big rivalry from 3 East African Safari Classic winner Baldev Charger Felix Solana with more.
The 4th edition of X Rally events will be featuring a tight competition
Carl Flash Tudo, who is a multiple Kenya Rally champion, will be facing a veteran driver who won Kenya National Rally severally and 3 times East Africa Classic champion Baldev Chaja. This year's event will see a host of new class competitors taking part, including several women drivers such as Natasha Tudo. An acclaimed motorsport driver will be taking part in a fast rallycross event. The event, sponsored by Kenya Breweries Limited through their White Cup brand, will see the company renewing its contract that has seen them involved in events including Rhino Charge and Kenya National Rally Championship in the past years. White Cup comes on board as the responsible drinking partner for the events and will also be hosting a rally consumer engagement experience dubbed the New Jack Get Down that will happen on both days of the competition. The event will take place on 6th and 7th of May 2023 at People's Park in Machakos County. Felix Solana, Lookuptv Sports.
And also 19 times the English Premier League champions Liverpool will be in a litmus test for top 4 qualification tonight as they face off unpredictable Fulham FC at Anfield Stadium. The Reds need to win to increase their chances to qualify for UEFA Champions League next season. The Cottagers, on the other hand, require a win to cement their position to qualify for Europa Conference League. And English Premier League reigning champions Manchester will be tackling the on-form West Ham United in the Premier League clash at Etihad Stadium. The Citizens are targeting to defend the title this season. If they win, they will top the Premier League table with a game in hand. The Hammers, on their side, require to cement their position to remain in the Premier this season. We've come to the end of the broadcast. This is Look Up News, and thank you so much for being part of this production. I'm Nancy Nelima, and our sign language interpreter for tonight has been Josephine Oko. Keep it Lookuptv for our very interesting programming, and as well early in the morning with the Morning Drift with Simba, Elijah, Charles Kiege, and as well for more updates before then, www.lookuptv.co.ke is where you can get all the news as and at when it happens. But for now, it's goodbye. Have yourself a pleasant evening. Good night.